Welcome to Give a Shift. We are so excited for today's guest. But first, I'm Nancy Leeds-Gribble, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Alicia Ziegler, your other co-host.
Yay! Welcome. Today we have the amazing Alice Batson, and I am going to, Alice, read your bio, and then we're going to dive into all things. So Alice received her BS in exercise science from Florida State, where she was a Division I scholarship swimmer. Later, she attended the University of South Carolina to obtain a master's in public health, specializing in obesity interventions. Over the years, Alice has coached fitness and nutrition in Miami, Los Angeles, the Midwest, and South. She has the highly respected Certified Strength and Conditioning certification through the National Strength and Conditioning Association and is an NCCA accredited ACE certified health coach. She also holds national certifications in personal training, functional training, Pilates, youth fitness, sports nutrition, and group fitness. And Alice speaks regularly about nutrition and fitness. And I also want to add that she is, you don't find her speaking, sharing, training, teaching. She's going to be found, as Alicia said, dominating on the water in either kiteboarding or paddleboarding. Welcome, Alice.
I feel like we need to roll out the red carpet because Alice is finally here.
We also say Alice, aka our guru.
Yeah, we've been trying to lock her down with this busy schedule, as you can hear.
Oh, thanks, you guys. I think that bio lends to how old I am. How many things I've done. So, yeah, but I've been passionate about nutrition and fitness my entire life as an athlete, both personally and professionally. And my husband is a physician, and he practices sports medicine, and he's also an athlete. So together we've done a lot working with patients and other athletes on, living their best life. So yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys today.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah. And I love it that reading your bio, like you worked in obesity intervention, which kind of is going to lead us perfectly into today's topic, which is, we just want to share all things today, kind of Ozempic, right? It's out there. It's gaining a lot of traction over the year, and it's really becoming more mainstream, I believe, than anyone thought that it would be. So we want to start with, Alice does work with a lot of clients that are on Ozempic. She's seen all the kind of the good, the bad, the ugly of it. Alicia and I also work with clients who have a lot of questions about it. And so we want to just talk about it, bring today alternative solutions. And we want to let everyone know this is not a bashing session. This is really just to bring the facts. And we're not, we really want to say that because some people will immediately tune out if their heart is set on taking it or they're taking it. And we really want you to stay tuned in and to listen. And we were discussing earlier, I would be a complete hypocrite if I didn't own up that I see the appeal, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, that was me growing up. Anyone who knows my story, I strive to be skinny. Nutrition wasn't in the wheelhouse, and I would have done whatever it takes. I didn't think about long-term consequences or nutrition at all, like what was happening to my body. And now that I know differently, now that I've made the shift into the area that I am, right? That's what we want to do. We want to just bring the information and some alternative healthy solutions for those that are interested. So that's where we're going to begin.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Alice, let's just start with, you work with a lot of medical practices, correct?
Yes.
That will send you their patients that either need to lose weight before they can have a surgery or something done, or they're already on Ozempic because they and they want you to help them get the right nutrition. So what can you like tell us, like kind of worldview, like what are you seeing most of the people taking Ozempic? What are you seeing is happening, I guess?
Well, I think, there's a lot of side effects associated with the drug and all the different iterations of the drug. There are so many out there now. And so a lot of times I think I'll back up a bit. Like a lot of times I have patients referred to me that need to lose weight for a surgery, or they need to get their A1C down, which is your blood sugar levels, which is what Ozempic kind of addresses. And so, they'll come to me, how can I do this quick? And then sometimes we'll have the conversation. My doctor mentioned maybe I should go on Ozempic. And what do you think about that? So they might want my advice around that. And so, of course, I completely understand, and I'm going to support them if they make that choice. But if I get them ahead of time, I often try to encourage them to do things naturally first. If we're on a time crunch, I get it. And this is going to be a quick fix for sure. But if they have the time, I really encourage them to do it with whole food nutrition. Once, if they're already on it, and a lot of times the physician, there's a lot of medical practitioners, nurse practitioners who work with this medication that really want their patients to have a sustainable result, not just the quick fix. And so to make it sustainable, the reason why they are in the position that they are in is why are they obese, or why are they heavier than they want to be? Is it poor diet? Is it stress? Is it hormone related? Is it, even pregnancy related? Did they gain a bunch of weight on when they were pregnant and they can't get it off? So there's all kinds of reasons around that. So we kind of have to dive deep and say, okay, why are we here? What are we going to do through the process if they're on the drug? And then what about afterwards? You don't want to gain all the weight back. And it's a lot of people will come to me with health consequences from taking the drug. They haven't been able to continue it, and they're lost, and they're like, oh no, this didn't work for me. I had these ill effects. Sometimes there's bad side effects. And now what do I do? And so we kind of just have to see where they are and figure out the solution for making it sustainable, making it healthy, and making sure they have a good result wherever they are in the process. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. And so when someone comes to you and they're on, let's just start with somebody's already taking Ozempic, which I'm just going to toss out. I feel like, I think it's a little bit too much like candy now. I do, and people are spending a ton of money.
That's what I was going to say.
To take it. But someone comes to you and they're already taking Ozempic. What are the most common side effects that you're hearing from the patients that are coming to you by being on Ozempic?
Yeah, I'd say the majority of them do have side effects. Now, there's some that feel great. And I think also their mood is just so boosted from the weight loss, because generally it does happen. Occasionally I get someone who it's not working for, and usually they work with their provider and they figure out why. But a lot of times, and some of them can't sustain the cost of it. So we get all kinds of things. But when they're on it, I think a lot of the practitioners that I work with are really concerned that they do get good nutrition while they're on it, that they get 30 grams of fiber, that they get all their vitamins, because a lot of times what you were saying, the side effects are they aren't hungry. They may be very nauseous. They may be throwing up frequently. They may be having trouble eliminating. So getting these things like fiber, getting the, if they don't want to eat, and maybe when they do eat, they're not making the healthiest choices. This is just not providing them the fuel they need for optimal health, and so we don't want to lower their immune system by eating poorly and things like that. So we address those things. And I think, a lot of times taking some kind of supplements is really helpful because, there's a lot of foods that they don't want to eat. So they're not getting that full spectrum of vitamins and minerals that they need. So having a good, nutritious shake, like a green shake, having a fiber supplement, those kind of things can be really helpful. And also making sure they get enough protein. So, and then the other thing that I've noticed a lot is the aging.
Yes.
Like I think you've heard of Ozempic face, and that's a real concern, especially
Mhm.
for women seem to be concerned with that. And because there are men that are also on the medication. And so I think, making sure they're getting all the nutrients to support their, I hate to say their appearance and be so vain, but that is certainly a concern for most of the people I've worked with.
But a lot of people who are on Ozempic, I'm saying it, really maybe only had not that many pounds to lose, right? So I think it's okay. It's the appearance factor, right? That might play in there. But I have seen the aging part is something actually I don't think gets talked about a lot. And I have seen the women that I know, a lot of the women I know, they look really 10 years older. And it's just because people are losing weight, which is everything. It's your muscle, it's your tissue, it's your water, it's everything, right? And it's just taking it right out of you.
Yeah. And I don't think we know, like clinically, there's no evidence as far as I know of why it happens, but we can certainly common sense wise attribute it to, like you said, dehydration, because they're not fueling properly. They may be getting sick often, which dehydrates you, and not getting enough electrolytes, but also not getting enough protein and things that help build collagen, and and just the weight loss in their face. A lot, and especially if they're going on it, like some of the people I've seen that are on it that aren't really clinically obese, and so they're already a healthy weight, and maybe they're getting to a weight that's almost on the lower scale, which is going to just make your face look more gaunt,
emaciated. Yeah.
And then dry skin and things like that, because they're not getting all the nutrition. So I think that's the most important thing, is like making sure they're getting all those fundamental nutritional needs to support all the processes in your body, including things that make your skin glow and make it look good.
I don't think a lot of people really get it, right? We understand different things because we're in the nutrition arena. Whereas 1,200 calories is kind of your survival mode of keeping everything processing in your body when you are typically on Ozempic or any other type of thing. It doesn't have to be just Ozempic, and you're eating less and less and less, and you're not getting nutrients. A lot of your body shuts down. And it just is like, okay, we're going to do the limiting thing we have to do. Then you try to come off of it. And what I've seen with clients that I'm working with that are coming off of it is they came to me because they're like, I went off of it and I gained all the weight back really fast. And I feel like SHIT. And I don't know what to do. Like, I'm terrified. Now they're just terrified of food. So what are you doing with your clients? Like, how are you bringing them off of Ozempic, or if they're already off, like helping them transition?
Yeah. So I think a lot of times it just depends on the person, kind of diving in. Why were you heavy to begin with? Why did you go on this journey of Ozempic or semaglutide or Mounjaro, whatever they're taking? And let's go back to that and see, or what habits are you doing that's making you gain the weight back? And then a lot of these people want very structured plans. And so sometimes I put them on a 30-day program or something like that kind of helps them get their eating regulated, get them in a system that works, that gets all the nutrition that they need, and doesn't require a lot of thinking and, cooking and planning, because that's a challenge. And a lot of people who go on these drugs, that's their struggle, is they don't have the time to do the work to learn everything they need to know about maintaining their weight, or the things that they've tried in the past haven't worked. And they just need some guidance and some help. And so, the quick fix always sounds great in the beginning, but it doesn't always work long term. So, so I try to steer them in the direction of getting good, solid, whole food nutrition. And I use a lot of this 30-day program that I love. I use that a lot with them because that tends to appeal to their simplicity and ease of doing things and making sure they're getting everything they need without having to get a nutrition degree.
Yeah.
Right. And it allows them to have a lot of nutrition in a not super high, caloric, because a lot of it is mental. Like I know a lot of clients that I work with, it's not even so much, it's the I know, but the I know doesn't change the behavior, help them shift into like, okay, great, I want a booty, I'm going to eat more food, or I'm going to run longer. So like it's just skinny, small, under this amount, 1,500, blah, 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 blah. And so it's a huge mind game. And I think the program that you offer, because I can raise my hand and say that I've done it and absolutely love it, as you know, and everything in between, getting ready for movies, doing athletic events with you. Like I have had Alice coach me. It was something that I found to be super easy, and I could implement it without stress, without worry, I was like, I'm getting everything I need, and the rest of it is kind of just gravy, so to speak. So to kind of piggyback on that, I think it is something too, when people do, like you said, go on a synthetic drug, they're just looking for that. I don't want to think about it. Yeah. And the mental game, I don't want to worry that it's going to be this much calorie, I'm going to put all this weight back, so it's kind of like the sneaky alternative of like, you actually aren't going to have to eat a massive amount of volume of food, and you can still get everything that you need.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I think too, the pieces of doing a program like that with a coach or, a health coach is the pieces that, like, these people who've struggled with weight all their life and they've tried low calorie diets, they've tried keto, and they may have lost weight, but some of them, the scale might not have budged. And, sometimes that's hormonal, but, I think, finding someone to be accountable to and to address all the issues around eating, not just the actual calories, like 1,200 calories, but where are we getting those calories? Mm-hmm. And are we nourishing our gut? And is our gut functioning properly? Right. And, are we absorbing all those vitamins and things we need for our metabolism? Are we optimizing our metabolism? And that's just something for the average person that can just get overwhelming. And so having a coach or, having someone like you help them shift their mindset and this is something that I can do sustainably, that I can, because they just feel like they can't do it. They can't do it. Their mind is like, I can't do this by myself. I need a drug. I need something, but it just doesn't work for me. And so just changing that mindset that yes, you can do this. And yes, we're going to help you. And yes, you can eat real food and you don't have to starve yourself. It may take a little bit longer without the help of a drug that controls your appetite, so to speak, makes you not want to eat, affects your insulin and things like that. But, there's are ways to do it naturally and to address the things around weight loss, not just the food that they're putting in their body, the calories that they're putting in their body. So I really encourage people to find someone like you guys or me to help them through the process, because it's hard to do alone. And that's why they are seeking out these medications, because it sounds like the solution. Right. And in the end, it's not really the long-term solution, because when they're done, they can't do it forever. They're going to have to go back to, how do I keep this weight off? What are the things that were causing me to gain the weight? What can I do to make sure it doesn't come back, and feel good and enjoy this awesome body that I feel I have now, if they've lost the weight that they wanted to.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just listening to, and I will not drop names, but a very famous doctor on another fabulous podcast that I listened to. And he was discussing exactly that, which is it, not even Ozempic itself, but just a fad of that sort is just not long-term, and right. It's just not healthy. And so to, immerse yourself in something that you can do day in and day out, that is structured and planned and synergistic and can be cohesive with your lifestyle, and only requires, you do these 3 little things, and then you can add or take away or whatever, or play, is something that you can do so that you can feel good, look good, and I always say integrate back into society, because I feel like a lot of people feel like they're outsiders. Do you know? Like they feel like I can't go do things or be with people, or I don't want the temptation, but it's like you can do you, back out into the world, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really big thing. And how cost effective is something this long term? Like that seems really well. You know me, I'm always on a budget. My girls know me. I'm like a budget. I'm budget girl everything. So if it ain't a budget, so I can call myself out. But I mean, long term, that seems extremely costly.
Yeah, it can be. And, it kind of depends if insurance is covering it. But, now there are so many people who they've figured out ways to get the drug, and upwards $1,500 a month, sometimes $1,000 a month. I know if they legitimately have or qualify for the insurance and their insurance covers it, then it's not so expensive. But it's definitely very expensive. And I had people come to me that because it wasn't, they couldn't continue it long enough to get the result because they couldn't afford it. Right. So I think that's a huge component that should be addressed when you're thinking about what your options are. And I think the program that I like is less. It's less than $400 a month compared to $1,000 or $1,500 a month. Yeah. It's more affordable, and it's providing great nutrition and also accountability and recipes and things that really help you just eat regular food in your daily life. And it's much more sustainable, much more comfortable and appealing to me. And,
something you can thrive on.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can keep it going. Like maybe you don't have to do the whole system, but you can keep parts of the system going so that you're still getting, even in your busy lifestyle, your busy days, as you are learning how to eat better that you can still keep this system going to ensure you're getting all the nutrients. I feel like something that I have heard from some of the ladies that I know that are on it, that I was really surprised that they were on it. I'm like, you maybe had 20 pounds to lose. And this is the comment. Well, I'm just going to lose this weight. And then I know exactly what to do afterwards. I'm going to stop when I need to stop. And then I know what to do to keep it off. And my head, of course, is like, well, if you knew what to do to keep it off, you probably would have known what to do to lose it. Right. But so they have this kind of I know what to do. And that is kind of the mentality going in. I'll take it until I don't need it anymore, and then I'll stop. But that is not what we're seeing. I mean, that is not what I'm seeing from people that have come to me. Not everybody, but a lot of people that were on it. And that's exactly what they thought. They were like, I thought I would just stop, the weight would be off, and then I would just start eating better.
Yeah. And so I think it reminds me of people who've done keto sort of things, and they've lost the weight that way. Very similar results in terms of I think if they have to realize if they didn't eat properly through the Ozempic journey and they lost a lot of muscle, because if they're not getting enough protein, their body's going to lose fat and muscle, So if they weren't exercising either, which a lot of them don't feel like exercising. So their metabolism is going to be way less, because less body to support means lower metabolism, less muscle, less lean muscle tissue, which really is what burns all the calories. It's like a really disadvantage, because their appetite is going to be back. They are going to crave foods again. Right. And if they didn't address the eating habits that cause them to get there, and maybe your friends who are, the lower weight people, and maybe they do know how to eat right, and they do love healthy foods. But a lot of people, the reason they got there is that they love, and maybe it's not even that they love it, but in their lifestyle, that fast food is easier, quicker is easier, processed food is easier. And nothing else has changed in their lives. They feel better about the way they look, but they're still going to rush to the fast food or to the, processed food or something easy or something that feels good or tastes good. And so, and then their body is going to put that weight back on quickly. And I've seen this happen a lot because their metabolism is even slower than when they started. And so I think I love the nurses that I work with that really encourage their patients to work with me and get enough fiber, get enough B vitamins, start developing the healthy habits, getting enough protein, exercising, and getting these healthy habits so that when they go off, they're going to be able to sustain the weight loss and they're going to be healthier than when they started instead of way less healthy than when they started. So, that's kind of where I feel about that. And it's the same thing when you get like really super dehydrated too. You're not getting all the electrolytes you need. And as soon as you start drinking and eating normally again, you start to all those, every single gram of carbohydrate, if you're carb depleted, you put on water. And
Right.
it's very discouraging, like with the keto diets, when they start eating carbohydrates and they gain all this water, which their face is going to look better, but their scale goes up really quick. And I think that happens a lot with this weight loss drug too. They get that same result where they're carb depleted, they're dehydrated. And when all this water comes back in their body, it's actually water weight they're gaining at first. And they think it's fat. And then they get frustrated. And then they, sometimes even stress eat, and it compounds upon itself. And they're at a worse place than when they started. I kind of went on there, but
no, it's okay. I was in my brain. I was like, I remember the study. They said when you're dehydrated, it's the equivalent of like drunk driving, and I went there too. Like I was like, who wants to function like that? And like you said it, and it just resonates so loudly with me because this is how my whole journey started with the gut, is like the gut brain axis. And if you're just not fueling your gut health and then you're depleting your brain at the same time and you're walking around on a drug that's literally making you sick from the inside out just to look good, causes me anxiety, which is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I always just want the best for people and to know like there are options and people like us out there that really do want to help you and cradle you in that way and show you like you don't have to take the fast track pill that is literally, I in my own terminology will say killing you from the inside out. Like that's how I feel. That's why I avoided synthetic drugs 25 years ago when they told me I was sick and they wrote me a prescription of 3 and I said no and turned, to nutrition to rescue me. And I feel like if people just really knew that was an option, we know that Alice has worked with people and has saved lives of really obese people. Like we've had clients where Alice and I actually worked together with folks to help them lose a lot of weight. And oh my gosh, our pictures later and the photos and the love letters and everything. And it's just so rewarding to see, like, I'm so glad you didn't, I would say sell yourself short, so to speak. And that people know that there is something better for you out there that's, I don't know. It seems so scary to me. I don't know why, but drugs seem scary to me. And I was worried for people and the headlines that are out right now. And, I just want people to know, like, you're not alone and you do have someone in your corner.
And choices. You have choices. And think of the choice when you're like, I don't want to spend money on supplements or these products, but I'll spend it on the pill.
Yeah.
Spend it on the supplements and the products that have nutritional value and, are going to serve you, and not just your weight loss, but your highest goal. We will always preach food first, right? Like healthy, whole foods first, but there is nothing wrong with supplementing in the gaps. There's nothing wrong with, if you need like a reset, doing that. Like our bodies get tired, our gut gets tired. So like let it reset from all the constant digestion and things like that. But what works for you, find out what works for you. And I will say this, the only with Ozempic is, my opinion is, it really, if you're on it, it should be, for medically supervised. Not least like some people are buying it off market. Like, you know, it should be medically supervised, and there's a reason. I just found out today they don't even sell it in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's not there.
I do want to go back to that because I have one nurse I work with. I love her. She encourages her patients to do a reset and get their gut health in check before they start this medication. So, you know, having a healthy gut and absorbing all your nutrition is huge, especially when you're going to be on a drug like this. So I know this is kind of off where you were going, but I did want to bring that up, that it is so important to have a healthy gut and, you know, for all your metabolic processes. And I think I do love that. Like if you are going to try this medication, definitely think about who's helping you through the process. And a lot of the providers I work with really care about their patients, making sure the weight is going to come off healthfully as possible. And they have a plan for the future. And that's where I come in a lot. And I think that's huge. And then if, you know, somebody's considering doing it, a lot of these providers will say, hey, why don't you do a reset? Why don't you try something else first and make this be your last resort, and something that costs less, like our 30-day program, something that's whole food nutrition, not stimulants, not the supplements that we use are whole food. They're not stimulants. They're not artificial things that are going to mask or, you know, decrease your appetite unhealthfully, you know. So we want to do the things as natural as we can at first, see how it goes. And then if you still need the drug, if you still want to go on it, you're in a way better place nutritionally, and you've learned some really good habits. So I think if we can get people before they go on the medication and say, hey, try all these things, it's still an option for you. It's still out there if you feel like it, you know, you really need it. And some people might health-wise. I mean, if they're obese to the point of having really bad complications around that, you know, diabetics and things like that, you know, maybe it is going to be an answer. But why not get your health optimal before you start? Because it is can be very harsh on your body. And so
Right.
in the better place you're in, you know, the better you are health-wise when you start it, probably the better result you're going to have. And then the more likely when you go off of it, you've already learned some of the things you need to do to keep it off and keep yourself functioning at optimal health.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Trying to sleep at night. No.
It's so important. And, you know, I was talking with a client the past few weeks, and, you know, we were talking about social media, and she's on there and she's like, you know, I just see everybody taking it and they're losing weight so fast. And I just, you know, I want that, but I want to be healthy too. But I see that, and it is right. It's enticing. It's exciting. It's easy.
Yeah, well, so is people that are doing cocaine at parties. Like like,
yeah, I mean,
just say it because
it's also right.
I mean, I'm in LA. Like,
there's truth to some of it, right? There's truth, but there's underlying factors. Right. And it's all of social media. You never know what's going on underneath the surface. And that's what we talked about. I said, yes, this is what you see. But you don't know all the things that are going on underneath the surface. And nobody knows the long-term repercussions there might be of not eating, I mean, for long periods of time, and, you know, really under eating. And I think that is an enticement. People are like, you know, oh, just not being hungry would be great. I just won't eat. And it's like, oh, you know, that's not long-term survival. Like, you might get skinny, but as Dr. Michael Greger says, I think Michael Greger, who does How Not to Age and How Not to Die. He said, we do not want our goal to be a skinnier casket, right?
malnourishment is not the goal.
That's not the goal. So I think for me, I do really like to acknowledge the enticement of it, because I don't think we do a service if we're just like, it sucks, like, move on, right? Like, that doesn't address anything emotional with what that person is feeling and seeing and things like that. So for me, I always want to be like, I get it. I see you. I hear you. I see it too. And you know what I do? I shut that off. Like, just like anything else, like you want to think what's going to serve your overall higher self. So if it's a necessity for you, absolutely that could be the way to go. Do it in a healthy manner. Make sure you're taking in nutrition in a way that's going to serve all the goals that you have because you're on it. But if you're, really, it's just you're frustrated, like and you think you've tried all the things, maybe you haven't, and give like the whole food route and other solutions a choice first. Make that choice first, because you do want to serve the overall higher self of your body and have a strong, long life.
Yeah. And back to what you were saying with the social media, it kind of, that whole thing perpetuates food as the enemy.
Yes.
Like you shouldn't eat food. It's bad. Don't eat food. This is going to keep me from eating food. Like, we need food. Food provides us, it helps our brains function. It helps us, our skin look great. It helps, it's vital.
It helps us live.
Pardon?
It helps us live.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we need it. So I think though, but people are like, yeah, I don't want to eat.
Yeah.
But I like to eat. There's a lot of joy. And a lot of times I work with a lot of athletes, and I'm like, especially female athletes, because we have, so many emotions around food. And I'm like, think of it as the 80-20, like 80% of the time we're fueling our body. The things we're putting in are vitamins and minerals, and we're getting them from yummy things like fruits and vegetables. And then 20% of the time, let's have some fun with it. Let's enjoy some things that aren't optimal fuel wise, but maybe emotionally feel good and meet that part of the food, because food is also very pleasurable. And so I think, just getting a healthy attitude around it, instead of like all food is evil. If I can starve myself, that would be great. I'm going to have this drug that helps me starve. I just think our mindset, it just perpetuates that food is the enemy mindset. And so kind of trying not to lean into that, trying to shift your mindset back to food is fuel. It's vital. It's, high vibration. It brings us energy. It's a great thing. We just have to make sure that we're making the right choices, and we're, discerning what's pleasurable and what's providing us with the optimal health. Yeah. So
I also think, too, to go back on that, because I think a lot of it also that in my industry is very sexy to not eat. Eating disorders are very prevalent. To starve yourself to look a certain way or what have you. And there's so many reasons that I just want to say, okay, let's just put hormones into play then really quickly. As a female, you need food for your hormones to function for you optimally in order for you to like get through life. And so starving yourself and underfeeding yourself or malnourishing yourself or interrupting your bodily processes with synthetic drugs, or you're creating so many hiccups and like this domino effect that you might right now, today, Tuesday, or might look great, or Friday, or whatever day of the week. And then in 6 years, you're like, wow, I'm really tired, or like, I can't get pregnant, or wow, I mean, now I have all these migraines all the time, or my cycle's really off, or and you forget, like, we have time to go. We have a road that you're setting yourself up to go where, if you're kind of road blocking with, oh, I'm just not going to eat. I'm just only going to, and if you only eat once, what is that one little thing you had? A Del Taco? Because sometimes true, right? People will justify, I only had this little bit, but it's like 500 calories. There's no big deal. Right. And you're like, but that's part of what sets all of this into motion and causes sometimes the binge eating later, and then the weight gain, and then leads us to where we are with the Ozempic or the popularity of the drug that's now, you know, propositioned as a quick fix, but long-term seems to be a little hairy scary. So we just wanted to have Alice on so that you guys would know that we were aware and that we care and that, you know, she is a wealth of knowledge and we call her our guru for all things, but she really has worked with a lot of individuals in obesity. So
and weight loss in general, and health and nutrition. If it's all right, I mean, I feel like I don't want us to be cryptic about what we're like talking about, right? Like, so if anyone is like, you know what, I really, really would love an alternative. I really would love to know what you guys are talking about. Like, obviously we don't have time to go into the whole thing, but what is like the solution to, hey, let's keep you healthy. This will really kind of kickstart your weight loss and your transformation, but then it's going to be sustainable. Can you give like an overview of like what that is?
Yes. And I spent a lot of time, about 5 years ago, my husband and I, working with his patients, we spent a lot of time seeking out something because people want a system. People want, you know, something organized. And for us, honestly, you know, telling people, oh, go to Whole Foods, try to do this. It's a lot more work for me to help people develop a nutrition plan than to find something that I firmly stand behind. And that's where we found Purium, which is the company that I love for these things. It's my go-to because they have so many supplements. They meet all of our supplemental needs in terms of recommending anti-inflammatory things to our patients, whole food, vegan, clean stuff. And it has a wonderful system that addresses all the things around nutrition, like coming up with something that's sustainable, something that is accountability is in play. Like they have a tracker. So if someone is interested in doing something like this, I am happy to work with them. You can have them reach out to me, but this program is really simple. It's just got a good green shake with all the B vitamins. It's clean. It has healthy fats, slow burning carbohydrates. So it's going to help keep people full, make sure they're getting that superfood salads. It's like 6 superfood salads in a shake. And then it has a clean vegan amino blend that is the perfect ratio of amino acids to stimulate protein synthesis. So it's really a great way to make sure especially if you're vegan, if you're trying to go more plant-based, making sure you get enough protein, and it's protein without all the antibiotics and hormones and things and toxins and
saturated fat. Let me just put that out there because I just gotta say,
saturated fat. Yes, that's my little vegan.
Maybe I'm a super fan of the aminos because I can take them all day long with no saturated fat.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, not that you need to give up meat, but meat does have parasites and toxins and hormones and chemicals, and it's expensive to buy the organic, all that kind of stuff that you really have to do now with all our food supply, because so much of our food supply is tainted. So it's very expensive to buy all those organic, no hormone, no chemicals, pesticides, herbicides. Yeah. So, that's another reason this is good. So you've got that green shake, you've got the aminos, which is the protein. You've got a wonderful award-winning product called Biomedic that helps nurture and rehabilitate and detoxify your gut. In fact, preclinical trials showed that it reduced your CRP, which is your inflammatory marker, by 75% in 6 weeks, which is awesome. Yeah. So this gut healing product is in it. It's just a couple capsules. And then it has a tart cherry juice, which is super concentrated organic cherry juice, which a lot of people know now that cherry juice is great for inflammation. And it's also great for sleep because it's a wonderful source of natural melatonin rather than taking something synthetic. So that's something really simple. You have these 4 products that you put in a system of whole food nutrition, trying to be more plant-based, and it makes it very simple and easy for you. And I love using this tool with my patients. all or some of it, just depending on what their needs are. And I think that's the thing that I love about this company is there's so many products they have that can assist you in keeping your metabolism going, making sure you get all those vitamins, making sure you're having a healthy gut, making sure you're eliminating properly. The daily fiber they have, I love. It's great for your appetite. It's got ingredient in it that helps boost a hormone called adiponectin, which is a metabolic hormone. And actually some of the ingredients in that daily fiber mimic the effects of the semaglutide or Ozempic. And so that it's really helpful for people who are actually doing it to take the fiber, and also to just help them eliminate properly. So I love the company and the system. And if any of your viewers want to reach out, you can give my contact information. We can give them a discount on the products. We have a give a shift code for everyone. So, and I'm happy to help them figure out what's going to work for them, because it's not the same for everyone, you know, and we got to address what are the underlying causes. Why are you here? And, you know, I love doing that. I love helping people. And then, you know, it's so rewarding, as you well know, when you work with your clients and seeing sustainable long-term results where they feel energized and they feel healthier than ever. It's one of the most rewarding things you can do. So.
Yeah, I love it that you, you know, said it's not like just here's the system, this is what works for you. That you said, you know, you might need some, you might need all, you might need a little bit more added in. Like it's unique, right? Like, and we're always saying every body is different, and that so you get your foundational nutrients, and then it's more. Then you help people decide maybe you need a little more of this or some of this. And I think that's the key, is like really learning what you need and what your body needs and what's going to serve you. And that can change as you go through. I know when I started with it, now I have like a whole pantry, but I'm not going to lie.
All right, let's go see my garnered.
But, you know, but I mean, listen, I'm just going to say testimony. I lay it on the line all the time. I was this grown up skinny chaser. And I even thought, like, once I really improved my health habits, I never realized all the underlying damage I had done. And I had, you know, I was like, what do you mean I have crazy osteopenia, half of my body, and my gut isn't absorbing nutrients? I've been plant-based now for 5 years. And, you know, it was like, but what have you been doing the other, like, 40 years before you got here? Oh, starving myself. That's right. You know, and for real, right? And so, I mean, I met Alicia, she introduced me to Alice, we all met. And I mean, it really like wildly different. Like my osteopenia is reversing, my nutrients are absorbing, like all the effort and work that I'm doing with the whole foods and eating those actually is paying off because I'm doing these foundations.
Yeah. And I think too, like, we get on the internet and we see, and I fall prey to this too. And I'm watching them, you know, you see on Instagram, all these people talking about what they're doing, and you're like, oh, I need that. And then, oh, I need this. And then, oh, I need that. And so I end up with patients coming to me with like a huge, like this, I have this and I have that. And I'm like, I've had people who had toxic levels of vitamin D because their primary care doctor said, hey, take this for your immune system. Their gastroenterologist said, hey, take this for your gut. You know, and then they get toxic levels of vitamin D because they have too many cooks in the kitchen and too many different systems they're trying to follow, or they're trying to just, everything sounds good when they actually don't work synergistically. And so what I loved because there's a lot of good companies out there, but what I loved about Purium is they have so many products and they all work so well together. And there's no chemicals or anything, nothing that's going to mess up your system. But I don't have to worry about picking and choosing and then looking, oh, is this going to conflict with that? You know, and so I think that's one of the reasons why I've stood behind this particular company, is that it meets every single requirement that I need. And there's no gaps that I have to fill in and worry about overlapping with things that are counterproductive. If that makes sense.
And I can say this as a vegan, that I had struggled like that, right? Like I need to put this in my diet, and I'm going to need B vitamins over here, and I'm going to need to take this as an athlete. And
I remember Alicia,
I was like, told
picture
Alice,
of
I'm
it.
having a meltdown just trying to function. And I'm like, I do this for a living, but I'm like, I'm testing and I'm failing. Blah, blah, blah. And then we were joking and Alice was like, okay, let's just give this a whirl. Like we literally were like, let's just see. You guys, truth be told, I have not in 5 years had a better. Every single time I go to the children's hospital, they are blown away by my number chart. They're like, I'm sorry, did you see your iron? Have you checked your Bs? Could you please come in every 2 weeks and donate platelets to these children? Like, you're now on speed dial because we have this panel is amazing. And I tell them all the time, I switched to one company and they're my go-to.
Well, do you remember your picture of supplements that you sent me? You sent me this picture and I was like, oh my God. I think too, she gets
like Santa's pigs.
No, I think you got a lot of free stuff too because of what you do and who you are. And people would be like, oh, try my supplement, try my supplement. She had this huge thing and I was like, oh my God.
And you want to know something? Here's the thing. Yeah. And I was telling her, I'm getting a stomach ache from like having to take so many capsules and I'm not sure that they're getting absorbed. And like, this is not fun for me. And she was like, just take the power shake. I didn't just take the power shake, but she was like, just take the power shake. You don't need to shove all these vitamins in your face. And I was like, it tastes good. I feel good. I'm taking it everywhere I go. And I call it my insurance policy. I think we've spoken about it before. Like I take it when I travel. I never have to worry about food. I know it. Nancy travels a lot and she gets worried that she's not going to have the proper nutrition. And it's like, if we didn't meet Alice, I would still be with my Santa Claus bag of like failing supplements.
Yeah, people used to always say, Nancy, you look like you're like getting ready to travel on safari. I'm like, I'm terrified. Now everyone knows, here goes Nancy. But my suitcase is always lighter when I come home, even with my Purium, because I take all my stuff. And but it really is. I think this really kind of can sum a lot of it up. Is a lot of women, a lot of people really have no idea how good they can feel, how good they should feel. We get so used to the starving. We get so used to the aches and the pains and the upset stomach and the this and that you just think this is the way it is, right? This is normal. And then you experience something different and it's like, whoa. And a lot of people will think, oh, you're a health coach, you're a nutrition coach, and something affects you really fast. And it's because my body knows instantly when I put something in it now that is not going to serve its best self. It's like, we need to get rid of that. So it's amazing. I'm like, I love all the things. We now, like that chair, I'm just saying, that tart cherry is probably like, that is my cure for all the nighttime snacking I used to ever do. I make like a little drink and I have different ways I make it with my tart cherry juice and soda water, or sometimes kombucha, just all the things. I love it. And it's like a treat, like a healthy, like I'm going to sleep better. Everything's going to be better.
Anti-aging.
So, yeah. I feel like we could chat forever. About all things. We will definitely have Alice on. She is busy, but what I love, and I know Alicia loves and shares this sentiment, Alice makes time for everyone. You really, really do. I often am like, oh, how does she do it? But you never falter on that. So if you're like, oh, she won't talk to me or she won't make the time, Alice really does. And she genuinely comes at everything, which is why we love her, with a caring heart, not a salesperson heart, not a this. It's like, I want what she wants. We want what's best for you. And I'm so excited. I feel blessed every day. I've met both of you. And I'm excited for anyone who's listening today and is like, this sounds like this could be what I was looking for. And then we'll have our theme song, Go Ask Alice.
We've landed on Go Ask Alice and we sing it to each other.
But we'll put in our show notes, we'll make sure everyone knows how they can reach you. You can, of course, reach Alicia and I if you have questions too. We're here for that too. But I think that's where we'll end it today, but we know we'll have you back on.
The discount code too in the show notes, right?
Yeah. I think the gift card code for you guys is the Give a Shift.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Yes. So
And,
One.
I have a Calendly link, but we can also, it's usually easier to book through my just, give them my contact information and go that way. But I also do have a Calendly link where we can set up.
yeah.
But I'm happy to work with anyone that is wanting to give a shift and make a shift towards a healthier lifestyle. So.
And a longer one, a healthier, longer.
Sustainable.
Yes. Yes. That's what we want. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone listening today. We know you found this valuable and super helpful information. And please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and to share. If you know anyone, like I'm sure you do, who's been thinking about Ozempic or on it, and you're like, they could really use this information, please be sure to share our podcast. We appreciate you, and we're excited for what we have coming up the rest of the year. Thank you, everyone.
Talk soon.
Bye.